Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan, welcome back to The Forge. In this episode, trust me, I'm a blacksmith, we're going to be making some bolt jaw tongs. Okay, in this video we're going to be making a set of bolt tongs, just like these. They've got fairly large nibs and they're made of forklift truck tine, so a 4140. They're made in a Toby Hinkman style, except from instead of using flat bar, I'm using square bar and doing the 3 set down technique. So in order to make the tongs, we're going to need to get ourselves some steel. You could use mild steel for this, but I recommend a tool steel of about 4%, 0.4% carbon would be adequate. This is 16 square by about 200mm in length, which is 5/16 by 8 inches in length. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark about 30mm from one end, and then 70mm from the same end. And then I'm going to centre dot mark on the edge here so I can find it on my anvil. In fact, I'll do it that side. So I'm going to put the notch on the edge of the material so I can feel it when it's hot, as well as see it a little bit easier. Okay, so I'll be able to feel those little nicks on the anvil. And then I'm just going to transfer those marks onto the other bar. These tongs involve a slightly complicated process in order to get our profile. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our steel, finding that first centre dot, which is this side, putting our first set down here, and then coming to the near side of the anvil, putting our second set down, and that's going to give us a triangular shape like this one. Okay. So it's the same section size, so it's 16 still here, but then we've got this triangular shape here. And then we're going to flatten our triangle out to give ourselves, again, the same 16mm section, but we've got a flat section here. That's the end of our nibs, and then this is going to become the hinge plate. Okay? Make sure you're nice and square. Good strike. I'm coming down half on, half off the anvil. That means the hammer face is hitting half on the anvil, half off the anvil. Hold the material at a bit of an angle, and that's going to promote the first triangle. I'm on the far side of the anvil. And that's going to start promoting our triangle. I'm going to come to the near side of the anvil, so in other words the anvil closest to me, and I'm just going to give same angle, half on, half off the anvil again. And I'm just going to get those 2 set downs in initially to create our triangle, and I'm going to take it back to section. If I refer to section, I'm talking about our original stock size. Now that might change as we go along because some of the material size isn't going to change. But if I refer to it now, it means 16mm or 5/16, or 5/8, sorry, 5/8. Okay, so just want to elongate these triangles that we've created. So for this heat, I'm aiming more on the anvil than off the anvil. I want to take the stock down to roughly half of its starting size, so the set down to go in at about half the thickness. So that is 5/16 in this example, or 8mm. And then I just take the round side of my hammer while I've got a bit of heat left. And I'm going to push that triangle down. Slightly smaller hammer this time, and what I'm going to do is just repeat the process again, but allow the material to bend up. I'm not forging off of the anvil anymore. My set downs are where I want them, so I'm just forging just behind those set downs just to bring that material in. Again, take it back to section. Okay, and then I'm going to come to this side now, and again, just let it bend up. If I don't hit it, it won't forge. So just letting that bend up a little bit, straightening it up. And I've got plenty of room in here to work now. It's partly why I swapped to a slightly smaller hammer, so I can get in there. Never done this before, but I'm going to try and explain this set down here a bit better. I've never done it with cold metal. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and bisect the area here, this area here, on the edge of the anvil. I think a lot of people come up too high, and this is what causes them problems. They get this weird lump around this area here. So what we're going to try and do, we can try and lay our hinge plate here so that it creates our initial set down, but we're going to lift this up at a bit of an angle so that when our hammer comes in, it's going to hit in here like so and create ourselves a set down, which is going to put a slight radius on here, well, a bit of an angle. This is a bit on the cold side. I wouldn't normally condone doing it at this temperature, but I just wanted to see if I could show you a slightly larger hammer. I'm just going to come up, I'm just going to hit it. Oh, it moved. Just give it a good strike there, and you can see what's happened, okay? Yeah. See if I can just get that to go half on, half off again, like so, yeah? Okay, let's see if I can get that to... Can we see that? Just like so. Just draw back this material. Flatten it out into a hinge plate. And now I've got this end where I want it, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to forge there anymore. But I can still keep it hooked in there nice and tight. I'm just going to walk back. And this is going to kick our material up ever so slightly, which isn't a problem. I'm going to show you how to sort that process out next. But one other issue that we've got is this is kicked forwards. I'm just going to bring that down. Okay, so I've got the material hot on the other side, and what I'm just going to do is I'm going to come in here. Measurements aren't important. Just give myself a little bit of a set down, roll that over, round side of my hammer, forge that back in, and then bring that material down to about half its original size. So I'm going to come down to 8mm, 5/16, something like that. Get your material nice and hot and draw the rest of the rein out. You can do this however you see fit. You can do it over the edge of the anvil. You can do it using the bick. You could do it using a power hammer or a press or whatever. Basically, just draw this out as I've instructed as before. I'm going to do both of these now. Get these both to the same point. And yeah, I'll catch you up in a minute. Okay, so I swapped out for my box jaws, and basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find where the first set down, well, the back, what would be normally our first set down between the hinge plate and the nib starts. 30mm back, 1.25 inch, put my hammer, and I'm going to find a good edge. I'm going to line everything up over the edge here. It takes a bit of time, make sure you get it right, and just give that a nice half on, half off again. Bit of an angle. So you want to bring this down about 2/3 of your initial material thickness. So probably 10mm, 3/8, something like that, maybe 1/2 inch. So you've got a set down like this. Now I know these nibs look big, but we need to get a bit more material back in these in order to get them to a good shape. So what I'm going to do now is put this back in the fire the other way round and draw out the back of the rein. Okay, get your material nice and hot. Same as before. I'm not going to go into great detail, but you can do this however you see fit. Just using the round side of my hammer here, coming in to contact the material across one of the round faces of my anvil. If you get a good heat, and you swing fairly quickly. It's quite an efficient technique. I'm going to turn this over now, so I've got the flat side of my hammer. I'm just coming again. Just going to take everything square on this side that was high, and I'm going to flip her over again. Exactly the same again. and then take it back down to section. Bit cold now. And then just rinse and repeat these processes. Get round side, working down the length like a toothpaste. Squeeze that material down the length. And again, the other side now. Taking it square. And then I'm just going to flat side of my hammer. Just dressing everything up a bit. So I've got 4 sides there. This is a 2.5 pound hammer, it's not a big hammer. Just straighten that up like so. Okay, I'm not going to do any more on the anvil, there's no point. Use a power hammer, we'll get both of these sets done and then we'll move on to the next set. Next job's to upset the hinge. So I'm going to find a good edge and I'm going to come in with my hammer and I'm going to start sending that hinge, I'm going to start sending that hinge back down on itself, okay? So this is going to bend and squirm and do all sorts of things, but you just need to keep it under control, okay? Get right in on that corner as well. And send that down. If you hit the nib, or what would be the nib, doesn't really matter as long as you're just getting that shape. It's good. Okay, for this next heat, I'm just going to send the nib back out of the way. And the reason for doing this is because that's going to give us that nice curve. So again, I'm going to be able to come up here and use the round side of my hammer a little bit. I'm just going to start sending that material in back on itself. Like so, straighten it up. And get this back down looking nice and tidy. So you need to do this on both halves, but you can also send your material back using this side of the anvil as well. And as long as you're doing more upsetting than bending, you should come out with a relatively good hinge plate. So just going to come into the hinge just here, grab me a flatter, just make sure that's nice and flat across there and looks tidy, which it does, and then just make sure we're all nice, flat and even, and then we've got this nice transition here, and then all I'm going to do now, just to make sure that, just going to bring that over to the point where I can hold this flat on the anvil with the hinge plate flat on the anvil as well, and we've got a shape like that. Okay, a little bit of cold work now, just to get everything set up for the next part of the build. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the hinge plates, which I'm then going to drift open, and then I'm also just going to clean the reins up so that they're the same length. But we will forge the tapers on the ends of these reins to create just so they're nice at the end. And a little bit of fettling as well, just a bit of grinding around on the hinge plates just to tidy everything out, make sure it's nice and sweet. Now, take the centre punch and I'm going to pop it in where I think is the centre. I'm going to have a good look and I'm going to say, yeah, I'm quite happy with that, even though, yeah, I'm quite happy with that where it is there. And then I'm going to do the same on this one here too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill these through, and then that's going to give us our guides for our drift, and then we're going to drift them out. So I'm going to run these through at 12mm, these these rivet holes. I don't want to go too mad, and the reason is I don't want to draw the material through too much. These hinge plates are getting thin as it is, so I don't want to thin them out anymore if I don't have to. So I'm going to get this hot again, and I'm going to run it through again and just keep going, and then once we're through one side, I'm going to come over to this slightly larger. I might be able to get it through now, but then we're going to drive it through on that side. I'm going to go on this side one more time. I'm not going to commit to it all the way yet. Like I said, we're already quite thin. I don't want to thin this out anymore. So we're going to come up to this slightly bigger hole. I'm going to send it almost all the way through now. I'm going to knock this out. And again, just gently trying not to lose too much thickness here. I really need to get a bolster set up for doing this job, because doing it this way is a bit naughty. There we are, all the way through nicely. Yeah, that's going to come out at 12mm or half. You could do this. You could do this on the anvil, or just find that it's a bit easier to grab it in the leg vise, like so. And then you can pull this back and start getting this into a 90. Like so. So just going to put pressure on the back of the handle here, and just initially using the round side of the hammer to create a bit of a bend, just the flat side of the hammer, just to bring it in, so it's like it's basically 90 but with a bit of a curve coming out of the back. The round side of your hammer. If you have a round side of your hammer, you can start sending that down, and then what I like to do use a combination of working on and off the bick just to create your bow. Okay, slightly lower temperature just to mark this up. I'm not going to have a glove on initially because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Just going to mark that, what looks like the centre. I'm going to come over to my left a little bit, and then just using the round shape of this chisel, you can start on one end, roll it forward, and just keep knocking that into the centre. Okay, it's getting a bit cold now. One more. Right, I'm just going to pop that back in the fire, but we've started to put our chisel mark in there in the centre. Right, I'm just running this chisel in again. I decided to go the other way on this one. I'm not sure quite why, but I have. Just going to run that in there, cut that open. And then exactly the same as before, except from, I've just got slightly higher heat this time. Just going to come in. I'm just trying to walk it over to the opposite side ever so slightly. Like so. Okay, so you just want to get your reins hot at the end. I like to come from my hardy hole back to the near side of the anvil, put a little mark, and then from there I just like to draw these out. Now this is preference. Just going to draw them back into a slight distilled taper. What I'll do is I'll go the entire distance, and then every time I've done two sides, I'll just pinch off a little less every time to create that taper. And then once I'm happy with the sort of length, I've probably maybe got about an inch out there, just come up onto the flat face of the hammer, tie it all up to the flat face of the hammer, and then come up onto the anvil face. Flatten it all out, take the corners off, and then make sure that hangs down. So basically you want straight-ish reins, or completely tapered all the way, and then as you get to the end, you just taper down to the one side. Nice and tidy. Run down the length. To be honest with you, these are tongs, and if you're making these at home, you don't need to get them clean like this. It's horses for courses, really. If you want, if they're a bit lumpy bumpy, your reins, it doesn't really matter. If you haven't got this little flick on the end, it doesn't matter. As long as they're straight, which these aren't, as long as they are straight, as long as they're straight, you'll be fine. 40mm, just over 40mm of material for this rivet. I think that's going to be a bit long now looking at it. Damn it. Oh well, and I've basically cut most of the way through on the bar so I can snap it off. Not very gracefully, I might add. I'm going to just get this rivet to pass all the way through. Start the rivet off about halfway through. And what I'm going to end up start doing is just setting this. Basically, I was floating it there in the middle. Now you could do this with a bolster, that would probably help a lot. Just want to separate these. You could probably do it with a bolster, that would help a lot, but I'm started now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this in the fire with these open and get this reheated. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just going to leave the reins open. Flip this over this side. Using the round side of my hammer, I'm just driving that. Rivet in there. It's quite a good way to get those rivets to go in, so that they don't mushroom up and they just sort of upset the whole way down by using the using the ball of the hammer. Just going to get that temperature right so I can start opening these up otherwise without bending the reins. Oh, it's getting close. Come on. Start setting up these nibs now, and I'm going to take a piece of 12mm square or half inch, depending on how you like your numbers, and I'm just gonna, quite hot, I'm gonna start forging that in, and basically what I'm looking for is that this curve here is the same, so it's not quite, so I'm gonna just drop that, hook my furthest nib over the back of the anvil. I'm just gonna give that a little shunt up, so it's gonna tip forwards, but when I put it in the, when I put the stock back in, he says, now that I've cut this, I'm going to hit this opposite side, and that's hopefully going to bend it all back up in line, which it has done. And they're looking quite smart, so they're going to... Okay, so I got this up to a reasonable heat, same drill as before. Just going to stick the bar in between the jaws, grab me a bit of wood, stick that in here as well, and then just going to come to the edge here and give it a good couple of blows so that that gets rounded up nicely. Okay, nice. Really pleased with that. So that holds our stock quite nicely. Just going to get this hot again and straighten everything up. If you can get the hinge completely soaked, that's always good. And then do this hot as well. You want it Warm enough to get the oil to be very, very thin, but at the same time warm enough. Yeah, warm enough to get the oil nice and thin, but at the same time cool enough so that the oil doesn't just burn, because otherwise you get like this black sludge. And then, yeah, there we go. Right, I'm going to just finish these off in this linseed oil, and then I'll sign off the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. There was a few mistakes in there, and I've tried a slightly different wrap when it comes to covering what I'm covering. I covered the important bits. If there's stuff that you didn't see in enough detail, or you want a bit more detail on it, there are other videos available on the channel that will tell you how to do lots of the things that I've cut out from this video. Just trying to shorten it up a little bit. This will hold 12 square, super nice, really nice light pair of tongs. And it will also hold, I hope, yeah, it'll have a good old grip of 16, so that's 1/2 inch and 5/8. And if you did a bit of adjusting with this, you could hold 20 mil if you wanted to. These are forklift truck tines, so these are going to take a bit more of a pounding than normal mild steel tongs would. So yeah, they're good tongs. I really enjoy making these. These are going out to a customer. Sorry you've had to wait a bit longer for them. I've had to do this video a couple of times, got to keep messing it up because I wanted it to be really cushy. So that's everything. Now if you wanted to get your hands on tongs like this, or hammers, all kinds of tools and stuff like that, I have an Etsy that you can go and check out. You can also pick up t-shirts and do some other bits and bobs. There's a raffle still up that will be coming to a close on the 22nd of February, so get your raffle tickets and all that lovely stuff over on the Etsy. If you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications because it tells you every time I make videos. I've been making one a week since Christmas. I've been doing really well at that. I've actually been making more than one a week, which has been really good. I am going to try and continue to get the content out like I am. Lives will be, there'll be at least one live a month, and in that live we will probably be doing something relating to the clamp of the month. Share the video, comment, and like I said in the video, about halfway through hopefully, go and check out the Instagram because there's more content there. There was a bit of a joke that I was having with Alex from Valhalla Ironworks. Go and check his channel out as well. Also on YouTube there's a community section, go and check that out. That's where I'll be posting the surveys where I find out what clamps you want to see, what kind of content you want to see. All things that have happened video-wise, things that are going to be happening video-wise. You can comment, you can send me information, do all sorts of really cool stuff there as well. I think there's a thing on YouTube now where I can do some posts as well, where I can give a bit more information there too, so some shorter little clips and bits and bobs like that. So I might end up doing a little bit of that as well, but we'll see what comes. So yeah, and then I've got some big jobs coming up and some other stuff. So it's getting busy. There's plenty of content to create, and hopefully you guys and girls at home are enjoying it, so please let me know in the description. And lastly, just the same thing again, go and check out the Etsy. There's loads of stuff over there to do your projects. I'm going to try and get that a bit tighter. There's also the Patreon, and there is if you're going to do the Patreon, just do the $3 thing at the minute. If you're thinking about doing all the other ones, they're going to change. I'm still not 100% sure about Patreon, but we'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. That's everything. Thank you for joining me. I will leave a link up here to a video of me making a pair of crazy tongs, another pair of crazy tongs down here, and this video is something that YouTube recommends that you will enjoy. And just here is the subscribe button, so hit that, and I'll see you guys and girls for another video some other time. Bye bye.